Hey guys, and welcome back to another Conan Exiles video. Today we're building a rustic village, and this build turned out to be a bit of a strange one from what it was intended to be. The requirements are on screen now. I'm primarily using the desert town mod here, as this began as a test build for the mod. So without further ado, let's get started. As you may have seen from the title, this is a speed build, as it's something I've been working on over the past 4 or 5 days. I did a small test prior to this build with the desert town set just to kind of see how the build set performed. That test went well, so I decided to build something a little larger to further test how the pieces interact together and to get a better feeling for the mod overall. Somehow, that test turned into an entire village. The first portion of the build was centred around the castle. I was focused mainly upon the mossy stone subset of tiles, and I settled upon this segment of land as a good spot for the test build. I built a fairly decent sized base plate with a mix of the foundations and decided I'd make it a more open style castle design. I was still just kind of spitballing ideas at this point, as I've heard some pretty good things about the Desert Town mod, and I intended to make a proper mod showcase for it, which I probably will at some point in the future. I eventually reached the point where the castle was coming together, and I was pretty impressed with how the set was performing. There was a slight learning curve, but by the time I'd finished the castle, I really liked it. I was fairly satisfied with where the build was at, but then I looked around and spotted the river, the dirt track, and I struggled to resist temptation. I then started building a small village around the castle in a similar rustic style. All the village builds are really quite simple, but simplicity was really the key to success with this project. Even the castle, which does look a bit complicated, was fairly easy to build with a really simple floor plan. In the end, by the time I'd done the finishing touches and eventually decorated the village, which took a good while, things were looking pretty good. As you probably know, I try to keep things as mod-free as possible on this channel for the console folks, but I do occasionally like to do a big modded build and kinda go all out. Even though I didn't actually intend for that to be the case here, it just kinda turned out that way, and I am pretty happy with the final result. The main concept behind testing this set was, as I mentioned earlier, to see if there was enough here that I wanted to do a mod showcase on. Desert Town is a mod that I keep seeing pop up in other people's builds and in posts on Twitter for example, and from what I'd seen there, it did look like a really nice, really well made set. There is actually a ton of content in this mod, and so far I've only really explored the mossy stone and some of the wood elements. There's definitely a lot more I'm going to explore and test, but obviously I'm hopefully not going to take as long testing it as I did with this set. And I am hoping to do a full mod showcase on this mod in the near future. As with my previous speed builds, I'll be letting the rest of the construction phase run, and then we'll take a cinematic tour through the completed village, fully decorated. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the build, and if you'd like to support the channel whilst getting wallpapers, early access to videos and other benefits, consider joining the esteemed Coffee Cultists over on Patreon. The link is in the pinned comment and the description. With that, enjoy the rest of the build, take care, and I'll see you soon.